Adults, how often do you buy items that you really can't afford or feel like you don't have enough money to do the things you want to? Adults, you're not the only ones who face this predicament. Children do as well. And with the new academic year getting closer, it's important to teach them good money management habits. Today's Jamaica Magazine takes on this and other important matters. Let's get things started with this timely message.
Yes, the heat is on. And as we continue to deal with the sweltering heat and dry conditions, parents, it's important to keep your kids hydrated.
Give them lots of water, lots of fluids if you can. Do some fun things. If you can either make some syrup with lime, lemonade and freeze it. You can put popsicle sticks in there and you have your children do it. And that can be a fun activity for them to do. And it's something that will keep them hydrated also.
Good day, I'm Tamar McHale and this is your GIS News for Tuesday, August 25. Schools in drought-affected areas will be provided with adequate water supply in time for the new academic year.
We have made arrangements with the National Water Commission to provide water to the schools which have tanks. I am informed that the Ministry of Education has an allotment for the purchase of tanks for those schools which are going to need them but do not now have water storage.
The Education Minister made that announcement recently while speaking at the 51st Jamaica Teachers Association Conference in Montego Bay. Principals at affected institutions are being asked to contact the ministry's regional offices to ensure they are provided with water before the start of the school year. Parents are also being asked to assist by ensuring their children take drinking water with them when the new term begins. Still on education, 100 new scholarships and bursaries will be provided to teachers to pursue studies in mathematics and science.
It must be noted that this will include teachers who are already registered and in various institutions.
Mathematics and the sciences are being specifically targeted by the Education Ministry to improve student performances in these subjects. A high-density filing system will be installed at the Supreme Court's registry in the next 8 weeks. Justice Minister Senator Mark Golding has signed a $48 million contract with Keith Ryan and Company Limited to purchase and install the system. It was signed at the ministry last Thursday.
This is an important technological facility to support the activities of the registry, which, as I have said, is itself, the registry, a critical element in the efficiency of the business of the Supreme Court.
The system will be set up in the new Public North building in downtown Kingston. It's expected to increase storage capacity and reduce the time for retrieval and filing, immediately improving productivity while saving time and money on filing and refiling. Meanwhile, Justice Dennis Morrison has been appointed as acting president of the Court of Appeal. Justice Morrison replaces Justice Seymour Panton, who is on pre-retirement leave after serving the legal profession for some 30 years. At Monday's swearing-in ceremony, Governor General Sir Patrick Allen said high trust was being placed in Justice Morrison, that he would continue to uphold the principles and standards of the justice system.
His appointment is an expression of the trust and the confidence reposed in his ability to give outstanding leadership to the Court of Appeal at this time.
Also a Queen's Counsel, Justice Morrison's career saw him being appointed as Judge of the Court of Appeal in Jamaica on May 1, 2008. He has also served as a Judge of Appeal in Belize and the Cayman Islands. Ralph Thomas is Jamaica's new ambassador to the United States. Thomas, who has been serving as the country's ambassador to China, replaces Stephen Vassiani, who demitted office on July 17. Ambassador Thomas is a former senior teaching fellow at the Mona School of Business and Management and a former vice president of the Bank for New York. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator A.J. Nicholson says he expects Ambassador Thomas to bring the same kind of critical thinking and creative energy to his new post as he did in Beijing. And finally, only emergency cases will be addressed at the Balaclava Health Center in St. Elizabeth for now. Construction work planned for the next 2 weeks has limited the services provided by the health center. People are being asked to utilize other health centers in the parish, such as the Aberdeen and Magotty Health Centers or the Santa Cruz Center of Excellence. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity, free a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, pathway to prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. It's a truth that's always relevant. It also speaks to why the Education Ministry is actively teaching primary students to be good entrepreneurs and money managers. It all goes down at JA BizTown. Let's pay them a visit.
Welcome to JA BizTown. I am Joshua Wallin, the mayor. Come with me. I am the government person in charge and I represent JA BizTown people.
I am the CEO of CB Stock Shop.
I am the CEO of Guardsman.
I am the CEO of Jabistown TV.
Today, we will be providing the businesses of Jabistown and advertising opportunities, interviewing
JA BizTown, the newest town in Jamaica located on the Ministry of Education's Canewood property at 37 Arnold Road in Kingston. It was created strictly for children, as government sees the need to develop the country's human capital from an early age. The town is a model working economy in which students apply for jobs and are both workers and consumers.
This program is called JA BizTown, Junior Achievement BizTown, and it originated in the U.S. Junior Achievement exists in 121 countries, so we're one of the countries implementing it.
The initiative, which falls under the Junior Achievement Program, is being implemented at a cost of approximately $70 million, with most of the money coming from donations. Major support is provided by the Rotary Club of Kingston, the United States Agency for International Development USAID, the Ministry of Education, and a myriad of private stakeholders.
The purpose of JA BizTown is really to teach students at a primary school level about what it takes to work. What are some of the work readiness skills that you have to have? What are some of the business skills that you have to know? When you see a company, you see their product. Is it just their product that they have to be concerned with, or is it what happens behind that? They have to look at salaries for staff. They have to look at operating costs like paying utility bills. And when your parents leave or guardians leave and go to work, what does that mean? Where are they going? What type of responsibilities do they have?
The program targets 10,000 grade 5 students who are being trained in a localized version of the international curriculum before they get to operate their businesses at JA BizTown. They are trained by select teachers who themselves receive the training prior to the classroom instructions.
These students are facing real life experiences and they're having fun doing it. They're learning math, they're learning to express themselves in English, and they're learning how to relate to those who come among them, their customers. And there are many, many other lessons that they're learning.
I'm writing up the date and who is the check is going to go to and the sum of money they are going to get. And I'm writing it here in numbers and right here in words. And I'm writing up the account number and my signature.
Today our staff at Lime will be installing phones in each business in BizTown.
I'm a cashier. I collect payments from the customers who buy things at Lime. Good morning, how may I help you?
I'm going to purchase a Samsung phone.
This one?
Yes.
Here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am a publisher of Jamaica Yellow Pages. a publisher of Jamaica Yellow Pages design website and send it to other people so they can come and get more information about it.
JBizTown is a true example of involving students so they can learn and develop the skills for a brighter future.
I'm proud as a Jamaican, and I'm a proud member of a government, because this is the type of project which needs to be replicated, not just here in Kingston, but we hope that we can do others across the country.
Yes, that's the next plan of action. The Ministry of Education, along with Junior Achievement, is working on expanding the program from the current 10,000 grade 5 students to all 42,000 grade 5 students across the island. A plan is also in progress to develop a similar town on the other end of the island, targeting rural students and saving them the long drive to Kingston.
It showed me how to work with other people and have a great business, and it teaches me a lot. I learned so far to do the lawyer business and to write up papers and to do other stuff.
I have learned to write checks and I have learned to get money from the bank.
All part of the training of our students to be productive professionals for the future. As government continues to focus on the strategic priority of developing our human capital in a bid to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families and do business.
Some marine, you know. Yeah?
Yeah, man, I have the package 6,000.
6,000.
Yeah.
How much I want?
Yeah, man, 2 bays I want.
Yeah, man, the one that's
grand.
Yeah, man. Same. Alright,
what one, cat?
You don't know, I sit downtown the other day there.
Oh.
All the brethren, them man, we buy and sell marina. One of them I sell a 6-pack for $1,000 and the next one I sell one for $200.
So where buy?
Buy 5 of them for $1,000. Think them can't rob me.
So Uncle Fancy is the same $1,000 you would spend to get the 6? Seriously?
Tell them again now, my math brains.
Math count.
Math count.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Education.
Okay, so while government is doing its part to impart lessons on money management to students, you, the parents watching, have the most important part to play in this process. If you don't believe me, take your own word for it.
If they have to buy, they shop around, look to see what is reasonable, right? And try to save something from it.
Showing them by example how to manage, how to save, how to put aside.
They have to teach them that must buy it. That is necessary, not foolishness. And the parents first have to set that example and the children will follow.
Teach them the proper way to spend the money and what not to buy and what to buy. Understand? Because you know some of them going to buy pure stupidness, so you have to teach them how to spend the money, what is necessary. You don't buy things that you just want, you buy things that you need with the money, and that is, I think that is a proper way to go.
You have to give them the amount where you expect them to spend, because you don't know it's a pitney, love spend. You want your money done, you get a pitney.
Buy them a little saving pan, you know, say put in $10 or $20 a night. If the child want help out, make them earn a little money for say, all right, may I do this, so them can continue put it in them pan.
Not to buy everything that they see. They want everything that they see. You have to teach them to save, and not everything you see you can get.
I'm going to teach them to know the money them. Like the $50, I know the money. And when they buy things, they must know like it costs, and they must know to subtract it, minus it. And know like some buy something for $50 and they get change, you know, like they can get $20 or $20.
You can help them by teaching them to save. It's not like you're not going to tell them that every time they get some money, you know, them spending it. You're going to teach them to put away some at all times. Because then like, you know want every time them get money. Mommy want sweetie, you're going to teach them, say, you know, must learn to keep something away. Cause, a rainy day might come and you're going to want to pull back to that money that you put away. So I think saving is beneficial.
The Petra Caribe Development Fund has been helping to transform the Jamaican landscape for over 9 years, expanding our roadways, modernizing our airports, facilitating the creation of jobs and providing academic scholarships, reshaping communities and improving sanitation facilities. The Petra Caribe Development Fund, moving beyond energy security. To find out more about the fund, call 960-9110 or visit their website, petracaribejm.org.
Earlier, we heard from members of the public, but right now we'll be hearing from the children who are telling us what they actually do to manage their finances. It promises to be a fruitful discussion.
Dad, can you please buy me some ice cream, cake, and peanuts when we get to the supermarket?
Matthew, I don't have the money to buy all those things for you now. The money I have is to buy you snacks for next week and to buy some other things for the house.
All right.
All right. Hear what? Let's make a deal. I'll give you $500 and you buy all the snacks you want, okay?
That sounds great.
All right.
Ooh, snacks, can we go there?
Yeah, you have everything you want? All right.
Your total is $958.18.
Dad? Okay, I'll put some stuff back. Dad, I didn't realize that's how money works.
I'm glad you realized, so now you know what to do next time.
That's a recurring theme between parents or guardians and the little ones. A multitude of wants, but not enough money to fulfill them.
Children have to get the basic concept clear. Money is earned. And when you've worked for that, you've earned that, then the child can assimilate the fact that, okay, I must spend it wisely.
Alright guys, so as you know, we're talking about money, right? And how we use it. Starting with you, Daniel. You get your lunch money for the week. How do you budget it? Do you know how much you're supposed to get per day and stuff like that?
Well, I use $200 every day. So at the end of the week, I will have $500 to save.
Oh, so that means you save $100 per day?
Yes.
Alright, so what has motivated you to start doing that saving?
Well, I save, so if I need anything, I will have money for it.
I use $100 to pay for lunch, and I save the rest. I'm saving because I would like to buy a laptop by the middle of summer. I'm around 1,600.
But is it ever mickle make a muckle? So you're adding as you go along to see what can happen?
I try to spend as little as possible because I know that the times are hard for the parents now.
Right.
So I have to do something to make to try and help them.
And that's very important. Parents have a lot of bills to take care of. They have to pay for water, electricity, the car, the house, food, your school fees, and a number of other things. Plus, they have to save money for emergencies.
What do your parents do when you ask them for something? What do they normally say to you?
Well, let's say it costs $1,000 and I only have $400. I ask my parents for the other $600 and sometimes they will give it to me. Other times I have to go into my laptop fund.
The child must be accustomed to the fact that money is something that's acquired by working.
Well, they told me that if I try to conserve the lights, to turn off the lights when they're not being in use, they told me that they would give me at least 10 for every light, and if I get good progress, they will increase the cost. Right now, I have at least $100 to collect, and trust me, I'm going to add $5 interest.
So that would make it what? $105, right?
No, $5 for every $10 they don't give me.
Oh, okay. So you'll have to be getting some more money. So what you plan to do with that money?
Well, when I finish saving it, I'll save up for my Nintendo DS and a few cartridges.
Was there ever a time that you used to waste or squander money?
Never? What about that Chinese chicken thing? Tell me about that.
Chinese chicken. Buy it after school and share it with my friends.
And have you stopped?
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm trying to save.
These children do not limit saving to their piggy banks.
It's a small metal beer, but each time it can hold at least $1,000 in coins, and I put in a little US money that my grandmother sends for me. And then that goes to the bank, so it's like 1,000 each year, each month.
When I was turning 8 for my birthday, my mother's friend, I call her Auntie Cecile, she sent down 25 Canadian dollars for me. So I asked my father if he could take me to the bank so I could put it in my account.
All right, and you, Khalees?
Yes, I've done it several times. It's supposed to be from a college fund, but sometimes you really do need to borrow from it.
What would be your advice to children who normally beg and pester and nag their parents for stuff?
Don't pressure your parents. If they don't have the money, they don't have the money. So stop pestering them.
Well, I would say you start trying to make your own money.
Really? By doing what?
Well, normally I ask my parents if I could do something around the house that they would pay me for. So, like for instance, if I clean my room and their room, they would give me like $300 or so. Sometimes I clean my parents' shoes for them. They don't have the time. I study my books, get good grades. Sometimes they reward me. And I just try my best to be good.
The essence behind Money and Kids is basically to have children learn about the concept of money, the world of money, get them financially literate so that when they become adults, they actually have a fighting chance at being fiscally responsible in their affairs, their budgeting, their salary.
National hero Norman Washington Manley, Jamaica's first female Olympic gold medalist Dion Hemmings, the 100 meters Olympic gold medal winner Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. All these outstanding countryfolk have something in common. They are all three high achievers in athletics, and more than that, all bright sparks, blazing a trail of managing sports and books, setting an example for future sports stars, showing that acing bookwork while being involved in competitive sport is more than possible. Sport is a big deal in Jamaica, and why not? Ours is a legacy of world-class champions like Usain Bolt, Courtney Walsh and Mike McCallum. But we want more for our pioneering and future sports stars than just fame and trophies. Excellence in all arenas is the end game. That's why two of the island's top universities offer sporting programs at the degree level, and why there's a push to ensure sporting stars excel in schoolwork. As the minister with responsibility for sports puts it, a sportsman or sportswoman is even more undefeatable if they are academically inclined.
Academics is not just about a career choice. It's a learning experience, and it's a lifetime learning experience.
It's not an easy road. How many see the glamour and the glitter, so they think I better rose. Me say, who feels it knows.
Doing well at sports while being a bookworm is not an easy feat. Two of today's stars tell us how they do it.
Well, for the morning part of it, I do morning training at 5:15 in the morning, so I try and get up from 3:30 in the morning and run over some notes. Like if that's the first subject of the morning, I'll try to go over that note, and then I go to training 5:15. And then after training, I go to school.
Well, get up 5:15, get ready for school, leave by 6 o'clock, get to school, do some studying at school or finish up some homework, go to a day of school, training, go home, study, go to bed 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night.
The balance comes with hard work and planning. For these sports enthusiasts who are also academic achievers, while their companions sleep, they're toiling upward throughout the night. The St. Jago High School Reggae Girl sat her 10 external exams in between overseas trips representing Jamaica in international matches. The future physical therapist is labeled as a disciplined student who trains very hard. After producing a commendable performance while playing on the national team, Georgia returned to school, training for the high school girls' football competition even as she prepared to sit her CAPE exams.
There are a number of colleges and universities, both locally and internationally, that is interested in her overall because of her academics and her performance.
If you're a winner, everybody let me hear you say,
And it seems balancing sports and books reaps similar accolades. The Bridgeport High cross-country runner is a role model at the school. The principal knows his name, and nothing less than greatness is expected of him. Expectations he's willing to fulfill as he's hoping to continue the juggling act for years to come. Javert wants not one, but 2 careers, to be a physical education teacher and a sports journalist.
He's presently in 6th form and he's doing his CAPE, and hopefully he can do his SAT soon, and then we try to look at scholarship from there for him.
And so, like their forerunners, these 2 represent the future of sports stars who are academic and athletic high achievers.
If school fails, you have football. If football fails, because it's not a sure thing, you have school behind it.
Living in a country like Jamaica where everyone wants to be the next Usain Bolt, I know for sure that all of us are not going to make it like Usain Bolt, so we have to have something to fall back on. If you do even make it like Usain Bolt, you never know when you're going to succumb to injury and cannot run again, so you have to have something else on the side.
There are also some more immediate consequences for ignoring the books. At the 2013 Intersecondary School Sports Association Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships, top runners were disqualified from the highly acclaimed competition for below standard academic records.
It also assists in how it is that we present ourselves on the world stage. That we're not only running well, but we're presenting well and showing that we have the finish, that we are catering to the whole human being, not just the sporting aspect of the individual.
Teachers, parents, and sports coaches are all united to ensure the balance is met.
I commend those students who have found that balance, and oftentimes it's I believe, teachers who show an interest, parents who are involved in their children's lives, who understand, okay, so you would have spent 3 hours training. I'm asking you to give me 1 hour in the books. 3 hours in the books, 1 hour on the field. But just to create a balance.
Born in Jamaica, shout it out loud, and anywhere I go, I'm the star of any show. I'm bold and clever.
Well, we've come to the end of another magazine. Parents and guardians, definitely one of the important points today is that your children often follow your habits. So if you're at least making an effort to manage your money, they'll make that same effort with the lunch money or pocket money that you give them. Let's get it right from the start. For comments on today's program, kindly email us at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm and keep informed by visiting our website, jis.gov.jm. You can also keep connected via social media. I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.